How I wish I could, but I will never be the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink that Tucker Carlson is. Still, I can think clearly, reason soundly, especially when I get some help from Jason Whitlock. Fearless. Here he's a sportscaster, but he has entered into the fray of the culture and where it's heading. In one of his recent articles, he wrote, "The in-your-face sexual depravity showcased at LGBTQ plus Pride celebrations acts as a mirror for the rest of us." It's a reflection of the culture Christian heterosexuals built, tolerated, and or enjoyed for the last 60 years. That was kind of hard for me to swallow. But I followed through with what he had to write. We allowed the centering of all our sexuality in every aspect of American television, music, cinema, art, and culture. We sold hamburgers, magazines, cars, football, and everything else with sex. Sex sells. It's disingenuous and naive to be shocked that, given the opportunity and leverage, the gay movement is selling its lifestyle with sex. They're simply mirroring the behavior of the formerly dominant culture. We made Pride Month and all the debauchery and grooming that comes with it inevitable. I think he has a point, because this didn't come out of a vacuum. This has been happening, especially since the sexual revolution of the 1960s. And we saw, even in the 70s, 80s, 90s, right on through to today, how sexualized our culture has become. He goes on to write, as with all problems, the solutions start with the Christian man or woman in the mirror. That is, we got to look at ourselves. I had this epiphany this weekend while perusing Twitter and seeing the disgusted tweets featuring videos of the child-friendly debauchery at pride parades. I asked myself, why are gay people behaving this way? Why does it seem like their life mission is to shove their sexuality down all our throats? Jason Whitlock confesses, I like crime, corruption, and sex. Amazon recommended that I watch Crime, Corruption, and Sex. It fed me what I liked. It's criminal, or it should be, that adults are taking kids to drag shows. It's corrupt that teachers see it as their responsibility to teach kids about gender and sexuality. It's sad that we've created a society that justifies criminality and corruption with sex. The LGBTQ crowd is mirroring an extreme version of the dominant culture's behavior. They're not doing anything we haven't done. We have mainstreamed immorality. Gay Pride is the next iteration of Playboy. For decades, popular culture and corporate media have celebrated heterosexual depravity, and a counter-protest is or was inevitable. You see what he's saying? This whole pride thing grew out of what heterosexuality in the form of depravity did in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I agree with that professor from Moody Bible Institute. It's not about homosexuality and heterosexuality as it is about holy sex and unholy sex. That's the measure. Is the expression holy sex or unholy? The Bible is very narrow when it comes to this. Holy sex is within the confines of marriage, bound together in a vow made before God and the public that the two shall become one. And in that very narrowly focused relationship, holy sex occurs. Outside of that, it's unholy, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual. The church must lead the way. We've got to be the light because the world is becoming much more dark, and it continues to be so blind to the debauchery in the form of drag queen shows in front of children that must be confronted and addressed by a church that follows the will and word of God when it comes to sexuality. Well, unlike Tony Kornheiser of Pardon the Interruption, I have not run out of time, but I will still try to do better the next time. Bye for now.